The New York Giants have a quarterback controversy on their hands. On one side, you've got Jaxson Dart, their first round rookie quarterback, who projects to not only be a good NFL starter, but a pro ready kind of guy that you can slot in week one, and it probably wouldn't have gone too disastrous. And then on the other end, you have Russell Wilson, the veteran quarterback who at this point in his career doesn't have the highest ceiling, but he's a Super Bowl champion. He has had great season after great season in the past, and he's got a lot he could teach Jaxson Dart. As for the Giants, they've decided that they are rolling with Russell Wilson, at least to start off this year. And that is a decision that has drawn both ire and confusion from some fans. Because with Russell Wilson at this point, ironically, because his nickname is Mr. Unlimited, he seems limited in terms of what he can do. He's not the 40 touchdown Seattle Russ he once was. We saw in Pittsburgh, he can play at a pretty high level, but he's not going to take you over the top. So with that, there's people saying that they should let Jaxson Dart come in and develop. And so therefore, they'll question why he's not starting right now. And to that I say, I think we should have some patience when it comes to this situation. I think we should have patience when it comes to the mentorship from Russell Wilson to Jaxson Dart. It's okay that he's not starting right away. He doesn't have to. If this is your franchise guy, you're not going to have him for just that rookie contract or the second one. You're going to look to have him for a long, long time. And if the Giants play their cards right, this could be a good decision to have Russ play right now. Because Russell Wilson, for all of his flaws, he has a good mind for the game. He has been around for a while. He is a Super Bowl champion. And he has been a quarterback in various systems. Ones where, on one hand, they would like to run the ball with Marshawn Lynch, but then later in his career, you had the let Russ cook movement in which it was a lot more pass focused. With that, he's able to play both sides and allow that experience to carry over, and I think that could really help someone like Jaxson Dart, a young quarterback, who when you've got someone young like that, they might get used to one system of just a passing-oriented or a run-oriented offense and not be able to learn on both ends and execute well on both ends. Russell Wilson could teach him. Then you get to the context of the Giants as a whole, and they don't have too big expectations this year. You look at that division. You've got the Philadelphia Eagles. You've got the Washington Commanders. Those two are, without a doubt, playoff teams. And then the Dallas Cowboys in week one, their offense at least looked pretty good. And that defense was able to make Jalen Hurts have to scramble a lot of the time by covering those receivers. So all those teams look pretty good. So that's already a rough division to be in. But then you just kind of factor in the Giants roster as a whole. I don't think this is a team that was expecting to go very, very far. They're in the midst of a rebuild. They have nothing but time. They have nothing but patience. So why not be patient with your hopeful franchise quarterback? I want to look back years ago when Alex Smith and Patrick Mahomes were on the Kansas City Chiefs. And Mahomes, as a first-round draft pick, I would say he seemed pretty pro-ready. He looked really good in college, of course. And with his improvisational skills, that's huge for a guy that you could throw out there in week one because it means that they'll be able to play under less than ideal circumstances. When the O-line breaks down, when a defender gets through, when he's got to buy time for his receivers, when he has to make a play, guys like that, in my opinion, are some of the most pro-ready guys because they know how to play when a play breaks down. But Mahomes, even with that, he sat behind Alex Smith for a year. And Alex Smith, of course, he had been in the league a long, long time, coming in that same draft class as Aaron Rodgers. And so with that, he had a great veteran mind to him as well. And come Mahomes' sophomore year, his first time really starting for the Chiefs, he comes on the scene and throws for 50 passing touchdowns, tied for the second most in NFL history. And I think in part that was due to what he learned from Alex Smith. Obviously, the talent is there. There is no denying that. The talent of Mahomes is second to none just about in NFL history, really. But having that veteran that he got to learn from for a year, I would say that that absolutely aided him. Then we get to this current situation, and I see a lot of the same here. Now, that's not to say that Jaxson Dart is the second coming of Patrick Mahomes, but by that same line of thinking, to allow him to sit behind a veteran quarterback like Russell Wilson, a quarterback who has been there, done that, been through a lot, seen a lot of things, and in the process has garnered a lot of knowledge that he could pass on. To have your uber talented quarterback that could start week one, to have him sit for a year and learn from a veteran like Russell Wilson, I think that could do wonders for Jaxson Dart if the Giants play their cards right. And so, with that, I don't think we should overreact to the fact that Russell Wilson is currently the Giants guy. I understand the frustration of it. Those people who believe that Dart can come in day one and be a great rookie and eventually progress to being a great quarterback. I understand that. I believe he could too. But I think there's a bigger plan here. With that talent, everybody in the NFL is talented. There is no denying that. It's what you do with that talent. And Jaxson Dart, his talent, I think, is among some of the best. But it's that combination of talent and knowledge that's going to take you really far, especially as a quarterback. You've got to know the playbook inside and out. You've got to be able to make adjustments on the fly. You've got to be connected, develop chemistry with your wide receivers, your tight ends, get the timing perfect. That offense relies on you, even the run plays. If you're a better passing threat, that's going to make people respect you. That's going to open up the run game. The offense in the modern NFL, it runs through the quarterback. And talent alone isn't going to carry you. You've got to have the knowledge to back it up. So to allow Russell Wilson to pass on that knowledge to Jaxson Dart, if you trust Dart to ultimately be your franchise quarterback, I think that's a good idea. And I think in the long run, it's only going to make Jaxson Dart more effective. Now, I keep going back to that point of if the Giants play their cards right. And the only reason I say that is I don't know that the Giants, the way that they develop players in recent years, I don't think it's gone as well as it could have. You have Thibodeau, who's solid, but never got to the heights I thought he could. You, of course, at that quarterback spot had Daniel Jones, who was there for years, but never quite put it together into being more than a serviceable quarterback. The development hasn't always been there, but this time, however, I do feel like they have a plan, they have an idea, they know what they're doing, and they're going to put Jaxson Dart on the bench. They're going to let him learn from Russell Wilson, and I don't think that's a bad plan. If you know what you're doing, I think this could do wonders for Dart and for the Giants. So with that, I understand being frustrated. I think Dart can come in. I think he could absolutely be a pretty good rookie, but I do think the Giants, they want to play it safe. They're going to let him learn from Russell Wilson. And when Jaxson Dart eventually comes in, whether it's later this year or his sophomore season, I think he could play very, very well to be able to mix that talent that he already has with the knowledge that he can get from somebody like Russell Wilson. I think that's huge. So, let's not overreact. Obviously, we have a big quarterback controversy here. Obviously, there are a lot of people that want to say, hey, put Jaxson Dart in right now. He is ready. And this guy's really got the talent and the potential to be somebody in this league. But let's not rush it. Let's sit back, let him learn, and I think it could do wonders for him. Now, there was one thing, however, that kind of made me raise my eyebrow, made me think about this for a second. And this is a report per Dale Slater that states that the Giants reportedly refused to let Jaxson Dart speak with reporters following their loss to the Commanders. He was willing to speak to the reporters, but the team chose to hold him back. And in spite of that, though, all players, they're required to be available after every game, but the Giants still held him back. So with that, it makes me think, it makes me wonder why the Giants would do this as an organization that doesn't quite have a reputation for being the most well-run in the league. But I do think I see where they're coming from here. Because what would the reporters say that would be, productive ultimately? To say, hey, I don't know why they got this Russell Wilson guy in front of me, when they ask him about the situation. So I think the Giants are trying to protect him, and I think that shows that they do believe in him to be their long-term answer at that quarterback spot, and they just want to sit and let him learn from Russell Wilson first. If that is the case, if that's what the Giants are doing, I think this plan has the potential to work. It's just a matter of the execution. Do I trust their execution? Not necessarily. I think that's where a lot of people's worries are at. And they're taking this gamble. They're not putting him in day one. They're going to let him sit for a little bit. Is that going to pay off? I think there might be a little bit of a distrust there, and that's why people are questioning it. But if it works, I think the Giants are playing it smart. They just have to execute. They have something special in the hands of Jaxson Dart. And to be able to let him learn from Russell Wilson, that's a great opportunity. One that you don't want to mess up. So as the season goes on, that quarterback situation is one to watch. And if the Giants play their cards right, they could be doing something real smart here. And Jaxson Dart could come out, whether it's midseason, whether it's next season, looking like a great quarterback. He might be pro ready now. I think he is. But if you're able to take that to another level, and he's able to soak up the knowledge that Russell Wilson might be able to share with him, I think the sky is the limit for Jaxson Dart.